Okay, we're on here back for another one. Let's get back into this thing. This is our 64 GMC. Last we let off, this hood, I ended up power polishing the paint right off of it. I dropped it off at the body shop. It should be back shortly. So the next thing we're gonna do in the meantime is I want to drop this front end. You can see there's, in my opinion, there's way too much gap here. Maybe I'll take some measurements and we'll see exactly what we have now, and then we'll go ahead and drop in these springs I got from my buddy Jeff. Come here, you. These little guys here. So they're 3-inch drop springs. Maybe we'll compare them to what we yank out, and we'll see if we can't get this guy sitting a little nicer. I'd like to see that come down. I'd like to see the back come down too, but we're not going to do that today. So what I'll do first is I'll rip these tires off, and we'll take a look at how we're going to manage this. There's actually 3 different ways to change your front coil springs, and I'll show you the way that I prefer, and then I'll show you the way the other guys do it as well, and then you can make your own mind up. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, and especially remember, if you're only doing coil springs, that's what I'll show you today, but I'll also walk you through the steps. And I got another video for changing out the ball joints and the tie rods and spindle and drop spindles and all that good stuff. And we'll go through all that in a bit. Let me get these tires off. I'll get this thing set up on jack stands. Maybe I'll get this engine stand out of the way. The guy bought a motor off me and was supposed to come pick it up, and as you can see, he didn't. So it's sitting here and it's annoying, but what can you do? I'll try and make some room here and get these tires off, and when you come back, I'll walk you through what we're gonna do. All right. Well, this is fun. Do yourself a favor when you're on Amazon and you're looking for, cheap lug nuts, to try and avoid these. You've all seen them before. They got this little tin over top of that. So then the tin just comes right off. So then you get on it with an extractor and you round it. So then you get on there with the smaller extractor and you round that. And then this is where you end up. And before everyone thinks, I'm hogging on it with that thing, I'm hogging on it with this thing. And I tried to hog on it with this thing, but it just keeps rounding because this is so soft that it just turns. So try and avoid grabbing that cheap junk if you can, especially if you're gonna flip something over to the next guy. Because while I'm lucky, I'm in a garage full of tools and a little bit of know-how, and I'll get it off. The next guy might be on the side of the road, somewhere with no cell service, and you saved $6. Yeah, good for you. Try and do better, because this guy didn't. All right, that's it for this one. I'm gonna get some heat or something. We'll get that thing off of there. Before I begin, let me just go over some of the tools we'll use. We're going to need a hammer to knock this stuff loose. You're going to need a pry bar. We'll use this for getting that shock out and stuff. It's kind of nice to have to maneuver stuff around. We're going to need a screwdriver, and a scraper, maybe a couple of wire brushes. That's just for cleaning up down there and cleaning up around the ball joint and whatnot. Paint pen, I'll explain that when we get there. 2 wrenches, 3/4 and 11/16. We're going to need needle nose pliers, another little screwdriver. This is a 3/8 Allen, a 3/4 inch socket, and then I got this ball joint popper. You may or may not use it, and then an impact, which isn't really required, but I got it. So why wouldn't you use it if you got it? So yeah, I'm gonna get after this. I got my lovely assistant here, Hi, Faith.
Hello.
And she's going to give us a hand. So first things first, I'm going to knock this this tie rod off because it just allows us to swivel everything around. So this is where the 11/16 comes in, and I believe it's the only place we use it on here. So let me pop this off. I'm going to grab the hammer and give that a couple smacks. That did nothing. So now maybe we'll try and pop this off using this guy.
It looks almost crooked.
Maybe I'll pop this shock off just so it's done and out of the way. And that's going to be a 3/4 inch socket and a wrench. I'll use my impact, but you certainly don't have to. These aren't typically a problem. Just pops right off. Bob's your uncle. This side's got no washer. Probably should, but I understand why it doesn't. All right. So now this is where you will utilize our pry bar. Kind of get in here. I usually need a little bit of convincing to come out. That one's out. So now we'll take this brake caliper off. So before I take the brake caliper off, I just want to compress the caliper just a little bit, and it just makes getting the shoes off that much easier. So I'm just going to compress it in just a bit. I do have the lid off the master cylinder up top. You'll have to remember to pump your brakes a couple times before you take it off too. You won't need to like bleed your brakes or anything though. And this is just a 3/8 Allen. Got 2 of these. That pin's gonna have to be cleaned up before it goes back in. It's a slider pin. It's not very slidey. I don't know why that's wet. See that?
Yeah.
It's not good. Alright. Let me grab some mechanics wire and we'll hang this up. Just gonna pop this out of here. Maybe. Just rip it through here. Shoe out, brake pad.
Oh, that's good.
So we'll just hang this up here, and that's only so we're not hanging it off the hose itself. So we'll hang that up there. When I go and I drop this, I'll actually move this out of the way of the spring, but for now that's a good spot for it. Now let's go under here, and our next thing is that cotter pin. So I just want to clean that out under there a little bit. I'll just take a screwdriver. There's a lot of muck and guck and grease and dirt and oil and all sorts of goodness. Let's get under there and just clean that up. And we'll get under here and just give her a little. kind of like you don't want a cotter pin to come out too easy because, you know, you don't want the cotter pin to come out. But at the same time, it's time for the cotter pin to come out. You want it to come out. All right. So we got a little bit of a gap there. You can see that. I don't want to take that bolt right out just for safety. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my jack just a little bit. There we go. So the jack's about a 1/2 inch down. This has got a little bit of room to drop, so if I smack it hard enough and she releases, we should see that drop down. And then I can unbolt it the rest of the way. So let's see what happens here. Oops. One smack.
Quick drop.
Yeah, we call it the barber smack. One hit. There we go.
Want me to lower it all the way?
Yeah, do you want to go lower the jack? Ah, good. Okay.
Up a little?
No, just leave it right there.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, we lived.
Yeah, and it went a little faster than expected.
Okay. All right, so here's the old one. Just throw that one over there. So come on in. We'll take a look. So it's pretty dirty in here. So you want to get all this crud out of here. Like it's not doing anybody any good. So it doesn't take long to clean this up. It takes no time at all. But, oh, I'm going to change the battery. You'll have to take that. You have to take that.
Okay.
So if we look at these springs, you can see there's quite a bit of difference between the two. In fact, there's about 3 inches of difference between the two. This is a 3-inch drop. It's a lot for a spring. I've never done a 3-inch in a spring before, so I don't know what to expect out of the ride or anything. But I guess we're gonna find out. So that one's out. This one's in. All right, so one of the things I like to do is I like to make life easy on myself as much as possible. So our coil spring, you can see it's got 2 ends. So it's got this small tapered coil end that goes in the top. In fact, if you look, you can see where it sits inside this pocket here. That needs to be located properly. The bottom, this piece here, also needs to be located properly. And that piece is going to cover up this little drain hole down here. It's going to sit right about here. So once this gets pretty congested real fast once you put the spindle in, the brakes, and the coil. So what I like to do is make my life a little bit more simple. So I like to extend that line up so it's like that all the way. So I know where this coil needs to be. The other thing I like to do is I take this same paint pen and mark the inside of the coil there, because down here is also going to be hard to see, but up here is not. This coil is very easy to see, that part of it. So when I go ahead and stick this back in, I'm going to be able to locate it without too much trouble. Let me get you guys set up here. plumb this guy up in here. And if you want to go ahead and start jacking up the jack, nice and slow, and then I'll tell you when to stop. So we are nowhere near where we need to be, for the record, you can see that. Nowhere near where we need to be, for the record, you can see that. I just want to get close and we can adjust. Okay, hold on. Okay, keep going. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on here. I don't know if you guys can see in there. You can see where I marked it across the far end there, and then where I marked it on the second coil, because I can't even really see the first coil very good. All right, keep going. Okay, so my top is dead. Oh. Okay, I got a little more. Okay. Okay, so the top is where it needs to be. The bottom is where it's all marked up there. So I think we're going to, can we see it on here? So all the marks are where we need it. The top is where it needs to be. I think we're going to go ahead and just bring it up the last little bit, and then we'll go ahead and tighten that. All right, so now it's basically reassemble. Let me throw this up. Just kind of set that in there. Ball joint back together first, and then we'll do the rest of it. Should probably have some light down here.
Oh, that one really.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go clean these pins up real quick, so I want them to be able to slide better than what they were. They're pretty sticky, so give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Okay.
Your way.
That's good. Now the last bit is really just throwing this tie rod back on again. Look at that. That's how loose it is, though. Like until we're loaded, there's not going to be anything on that thing. Quite a difference it's going to be, I hope.
put in regular sizes and stuff.
All right. So we're good there. I think we're all done. Got this tightened up, got that tightened up. This is where it needs to be. Kind of neat with the 3-inch drop. You could actually locate this after the fact, you know. Anyway, let's throw some tires on and we'll see how she looks. Okay, so if you wanted to lower your truck 3 inches, like I have here, it's this 3-inch drop, and you don't want to spend any money because they're super cheap. What you can do is you can take your factory springs, that's the springs that were in here, and what you do is you cut 1.5 coils off. So if you look here, this would be 1 coil, and then the other half would bring up here. What that does for height wise, it takes off about 1.5 inches, as you can see, you know, to the bottom of this guy, and then you can double that, and that'll be your drop. So this here will compress and give you a 3-inch drop. So if you want to save some money and you're a cheapskate and you don't want to buy new coil springs, you can just take your factory original ones, chop it right here, and that should give you 1.5 coils. That's 1 coil and then half. Chop it there, stick it back in, and your truck's going to be 3 inches lowered. It'll ride a little stiffer, but obviously you don't care about that. You care about what it looks like. So that's the way you do it. 1.5 coils out. That'll give you 3 inches. If you want 2 inches, just take 1 coil out. So you would just cut it right here. Boom. And then for 3 inches, cut it back here on this one. Boom. Right back there. Boom. There. All right. So that's how you do it for free. Let's get back at her. Hey, we got her back down on the ground now. And I'm coming in at, 29 3/4. And on the other side, roughly the same thing, about 29 3/4, maybe a little bit less here, but boy, it sure looks a lot better. Can I see that camera? Sure. Maybe open the. I don't want to open the door. It's too cold. It's 30 below. We're actually. That's how she's looking now. So that big gap we had. Oh yeah, she's looking good. Wow. Yeah. I think I'm gonna send this guy off to the electric garage auction in Red Deer. So if you are interested in purchasing it, keep that in mind. I think that goes sometime in March. Nice little truck. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this one. If you stuck around this long, think about subscribing. Could really use more subscribers around here. Did you have fun, Faith?
I did. I learned a lot today.
Yeah, me too. We learned a lot. So yeah, we got this guy dropped down. I'm just gonna torque up these wheels and call her a day. We did bust that one lug nut. Don't go for the cheapest lug nuts you can get. You screw with the next guy. Stop it. Knock it off. We got to go get another set, don't we?
Yes.
All right.
Median tire.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.